Hey guys, salut mes amis och hallå gubbar. Valve are cooking faster than I can make videos as if their lives depend on it. We're getting daily updates at this point. Here's me thinking they'll stop for the weekend, so let's dive into the CS2 updates the community's thoughts right after skinsmonkey. Skinsmonkey is an automated service that lets you trade skins instantly for a fee, sign up now, and get up to $5 bonus. Simply add items from your inventory, then find skins that matches your current balance. Site offers live support 24/7. You can also top up your balance if you're missing a few dollars, and there's a lot of skins to choose from. Visit my link down below to get to skinsmonkey. The team over at Valve has in just 2 days released 2 additional updates that focus primarily on a bunch of fixes, some of which I'll be able to talk about. More importantly, it seems that they're committed to getting things out before the weekend, like a stressed out employee who just wants to get all his shit done to fly away and sip his martini on the beach. We're also seeing new people finally getting access to the limited test. This primarily consists of skin makers, but I also received replies from some people who aren't part of that demographic. So there's still a little hope for you to get in. First off, they eventually added Mirage as an option for the main menu scenery map. Once you change it, you get a little fade out, fade in effect that reminds me of RPG Maker, and here we are at Mirage with an empty bomb site and a can in the corner that's really going to trigger me for the rest of my life. Next, I was lucky enough to record this segment with the Mag-7 when I was shooting in the smoke to show the buff from shotguns. You'll notice a slight difference here with how the Mag-7 behaves. It's basically a fix. Valve has also taken the opportunity to improve the look of the weapon. This includes the UMP, the revolver, and the sawed-off. I'm sadly missing footage of those other weapons before this update. You'll just have to imagine how they used to look. They quote-unquote fixed wooden ladders to play wooden footstep sounds. I never knew I needed this in my life, but if you compare it with the ladder on short, then go to the ladder shadow, you'll notice the difference. This sounds way more like a feature if you ask me. Recent buy menu update introduced a free armor exploit with the new refund system. To get it working, you basically had to do a bunch of stuff, which reminds me of back in the PlayStation 1 days when you had all the different button combinations that you needed to press just to enable big head mode. But anyway, the exploit is fixed. I can actually attest to seeing this tooltip leaking, but unfortunately I deleted the footage because I've got some form of budget OCD, and I just hate when things aren't where they're supposed to be. But yes, this information did manage to escape the game world. Thankfully, Valve is here to set this bug in place. We have numerous stability improvements, and now we can move on to the next little update. Under the volumetric smoke category, which is just a fancy way of saying smokes, they've fixed the smoke expansion algorithm when detonating very close to a wall. Now, I got a little curious on this one, so I wanted to just confirm if it affects any of the generic lineups. As you can see, jungle seems the same. The con smoke is just as OP. The window smoke is... The window smoke is just as effective as well, so just by throwing the most common ones, they aren't affected by this, which I wasn't saying they were going to be, because this seems to only affect smokes that are thrown close to a wall. I get that, but it's always nice to triple check the usual suspects. And even after this update, there's still no way for CTs to actually counter the window smoke with a molly, because the smoke spread is just so large. Then what does it fix? But there was a wholesome moment from Monezi, Nico, and Hooksy testing the famous one-way for Palace, so I decided to give it a try, and you can actually see less smoke coming outside the wall. If that's it, then great job, Valve. And the rest of the update is really just better looking stuff and additional fixes that, no one really cares about. But outside of these updates, there's a calm before the storm. The community is riling up, and some of the bigger names are starting to talk. About what exactly? That the movement feels like shit. Now, I've given myself some time to process my thoughts and feelings on this. I didn't want to say anything impulsive, but my take is that I have to agree. The movement does not feel as consistent and responsive as a Stone Age 128-tick server. It barely feels better than 64-tick, and you can already see that in CSGO, doing the van jump is like a fart in the wind. I can even do it multiple times in a row. In CS2, however, I can barely do one. The thing is, it's harder in CS2, not because it requires more skill, it's harder because movement is worse. Now, you're probably thinking, so what, it's a beta, they'll fix it. Let's just hope you're right. I got this weird feeling that stubborn Valve and their refusal to use 128-tick after all these years of requesting it is going to end up being a situation where they proudly rely on the sub-tick system and they do their best within those parameters. The real question is if they're able to optimize it well enough to make the movement good enough for the best players. I really hope so. So let's see. But today, it doesn't feel good. Another thing I noticed thanks to Don Hachi is how the game now sorts players based on most damage done. I like this change. In fact, I want them to keep it like this. To me, it shows a more accurate representation of your contribution to the game. I mean, who doesn't love that moment when you tag a player down to 1 HP just for purple in your team to white swing his ass to steal the kill from you? This would essentially prevent that. You could argue that this would encourage more reckless behavior from thirsty players in your team, like spraying through the smoke just to boost their total damage. But generally speaking, I think this is a great change, and I would love for the meta to change. I don't think total damage done is the best way to go by it by any means, but it's definitely better than just looking at a score metric, which essentially just translates to go get kills. Finally, the last bit of news that I have is on Mirage. Wait, what am I saying? I'm saying there's a small chance that we are going to get a full remake of the map. Now this sounds a little goofy to suggest, especially when Mirage is the map already featured in the CS2 update and was released just 2 days ago, but it still seems that Valve is cooking something and potentially even changing the entire theme. This is right outside of B apps near T-Spawn, and it doesn't look close to what we have today. That's it for the video. What are your thoughts on Valve cooking like crazy at the moment? Does it make you hopeful? Do you have any guesses on what's next? Let me know down below. Peace.